Hey there. Tonight, we travel gently back in time, awakening softly on your first day as a servant in ancient Sparta. Before we begin, if you find comfort here, please support the channel by liking, subscribing, and leaving a gentle comment about where you're watching from. It truly warms my heart to know you're enjoying this and that we're helping to make your nights more restful. And now, our story begins. The air is still. You lie on a bed of straw inside a low, stone-walled shelter, its ceiling barely higher than your shoulders. It smells of earth and ash, and of something faintly sweet, perhaps crushed figs that someone ate nearby last night. Outside, a pale dawn stretches over the valley of the Eurotas River. The light creeps in slowly, as if hesitant to disturb what little peace you found in sleep. Somewhere beyond the olive groves, a rooster calls. Not loud, just enough to remind you that day has begun. You sit up. Your back aches, not from age, but from memory. The memory of a long march, of boots in the mud, of a city that once stood proud, now under the shadow of red cloaks and bronze spears. You are no longer who you were. The name you once answered to may still be whispered among your kin, but here, in this land of iron and silence, you are something else. A helotes, a helot, a servant of the Spartan state. You touch the ground beside you, dry and cool, and press your hand to the wall. Rough stone, irregular, and cold to the touch, like it was laid by those who didn't care for beauty, only for containment. This is not a prison, but it is not a home either. Not yet. There is a bowl near the entrance, thick porridge made from barley, coarse and plain. You eat slowly, more out of ritual than hunger. It is fuel. It is what you'll carry in your belly, while the rest of you is spent on the land. Outside, mist clings low between the trees. The Kleros awaits, a plot of land that now belongs to your master, a Spartan warrior you have not yet seen. But you'll know him by his silence and the distance in his eyes. You rise. Around you others stir, some younger than you, some far older, all silent. Each face holds a tiredness you're just beginning to learn, a heaviness in their gaze, as if they've seen countless mornings like this and expect countless more. You step outside. The soil beneath your feet is moist, black, and rich, the kind of earth that yields well to olives and wheat and blood. But today, you're not fighting. You are sowing. You are surviving. A breeze stirs the olive branches above. A leaf falls, dances once in the air, and lands gently at your feet. You look up. The hills are quiet. No soldiers in sight. Only birds and the slow awakening of the fields. You take a breath and begin your walk toward the terraces. You don't speak. No one does. But in the hush of this new morning, there is something almost sacred, almost peaceful. The day has begun, and you are still here. Your feet sink slightly into the damp soil with every step. It clings to your toes, soft and cool, a reminder that the night still lingers beneath the surface. Farther along, you see the outline of an old fig tree. Its trunk is gnarled, twisted by time, but still standing tall. You pause for a moment beneath it, not out of necessity, but from a quiet urge to delay the day's wait just a little longer. A small bird watches you from a low branch, its feathers puffed against the early chill. For a second, it feels like the two of you are the only living things awake. In the distance, faint voices begin to rise. Not sharp commands, not shouts, but murmurs, shaped by caution and weariness. Fellow helots, starting their day in the fields that aren't theirs, yet must be treated as if they were. The fields stretch endlessly. Wheat, short and golden, sways with the lightest breeze. Vines crawl over low stone walls, heavy with the promise of wine. Though not for you, rows of olive trees stand like sentinels, their silver leaves whispering among themselves. You walk the path between them slowly, careful not to disturb the stillness too much. Your tools are waiting, not because they were left for you with care, but because they were never truly yours to put away. A worn hoe, its wooden handle polished smooth from years of hands like yours. A sack, patched and sun-bleached, hanging from a rusted nail on the side of the storage hut. You pick them up. They're heavier than they look. And then you begin. The soil resists at first, compacted by the cold night, but you press on, digging, turning, sowing. The rhythm is slow, deliberate, each movement measured, not because you're being watched, but because you always might be. Somewhere, far away, Spartans train, their weapons sharp, their bodies carved by discipline. You've seen them pass, never speaking, never pausing, like spirits in armor. They are the reason you are here, the reason you work, the reason your hands bleed. Yet in this moment, there is only earth and the quiet echo of your breath. By mid-morning, your tunic clings to your skin. The sun has risen, not fiercely, but with steady insistence. It warms your back, your neck, the tops of your arms. A drop of sweat rolls slowly down your spine. You straighten for a moment to stretch, your muscles pulling, your back stiff. You look out. Beyond the rows, you see smoke curling gently from a chimney. The main house, the master's dwelling. You've never entered it. You probably never will. But you know who lives there. You've seen his cloak, crimson, heavy, and the way others lower their gaze when he passes. You wonder if he's looking now. But no, it doesn't matter. Whether seen or unseen, the work must continue. Not far from you, another helot, older, bent, moves silently through a patch of vines. You've never spoken. Not really. But there's a nod between you, almost imperceptible. A shared understanding. Hours drift by like slow clouds. The sun reaches its peak and begins its descent. You sit beneath a fig tree once more, peeling a piece of barley bread between your fingers. It's coarse, dry, but fills the space in your stomach. You drink from a clay cup, water fresh and cool from a nearby spring. There's no feast, no joy, but in the shade, with the breeze brushing your skin, it feels enough. Children pass by, barefoot, chasing one another between rows. For a moment, laughter breaks the silence, brief and brittle, like pottery. A woman, their mother perhaps, calls them back with a hush. The sound fades. Afternoon deepens. The light softens. You return to the soil, hands dirtied once more. As you work, your thoughts wander to the land you came from, the faces you barely remember, the songs once sung near evening fires. They feel distant now, but not gone. There's a rhythm to the toil. Push, lift, drop, breathe. The sky turns gold, then amber, and slowly, evening arrives. You place your tools down, not with ceremony, but with a quiet relief. The day is done. You look at your hands, cracked, darkened by soil, the nails rimmed with dust, but steady, still yours. Walking back, the air feels cooler. Shadows stretch long across the fields. In the distance, the sound of a flute rises. Faint, uneven, but real. Someone is playing. Perhaps for the children, perhaps for themselves, perhaps for the memory of a time before. As you approach your dwelling, the light from a small fire flickers inside. Someone has started it. The warmth draws you in. The scent of lentils stewing in clay pots mingles with smoke. You sit. Others are near. But no one speaks. Words are few. Meaning rests in the glance, the breath, the shared silence. You lie down on the straw once more. Your muscles ache. But your chest rises with a deep, steady breath. Outside, crickets begin their night song. And as your eyes close, the earth you worked today holds your scent. The day is over, and tomorrow will come, as it always does. But for now, you rest. Morning does not wake you. It slowly reaches you. It stretches over your body like a soft gray shawl. You feel it in the way the straw beneath you no longer chills your skin, in the way your breath no longer mists in the air, in the faint amber glow that presses gently against your closed eyelids. You open your eyes slowly. There is no rush, no call to arms, no bell to ring, just the quiet understanding that the day has returned, and with it, the rhythm of labor. You rise without sound. Around you, others are already stirring. Some squat by the embers of last night's fire, warming their fingers. Others kneel in silence, tying worn sandals or adjusting the folds of their tunics. There is no spoken instruction, only routine. Your feet know the path now, the same one from yesterday and the day before, traced in quiet footprints over a ground that remembers every step. You walk it again, passing low stone fences where lizards bask in the morning heat. You touch the wall once, absent-mindedly, still rough, still warm. The tools are there again, exactly as they were. You pick up the hoe, now familiar, like the handle of a cup or the edge of a blanket. Its weight is no longer foreign. Its splinters no longer surprise your palm. You've begun to learn its rhythm. The first task is the olives. The trees are quiet, always quiet, but they speak in their own way. You run your hand along the gnarled bark, rough as old skin, and feel the pulse of the land through your fingertips. These trees have seen things: wars, droughts, storms, and countless hands like yours. You spread the cloth below the branches, careful to press its edges flat with stones, and then you begin the shaking. Gently, methodically, the olives fall like soft rain, tapping the cloth with delicate thuds. Some roll to the edges. You gather them, one by one, cradling them like small, dark gems. The harvest isn't large, but it is enough. Enough to feed the Spartan house, enough to satisfy the overseer's record, enough to let you keep a few, maybe to trade, maybe to press for oil, maybe just to hold in your hand at night and remember that something in this land responds to your touch. The sun climbs higher, the breeze shifts. It brings the scent of the nearby stream, mossy, sweet, and clean. You follow the path there next to fill the clay jugs that rest in a cool hollow. The water flows over your fingers as you dip the jug below the surface. It numbs your hands, calms your breath, and seems to hush your thoughts. You pause there a while, letting the sound of the stream lull your nerves. A moment of peace, the kind you don't speak about, even to yourself. Just water and stones, and the rhythm of life that ignores Who owns what? By midday, you return to the fields. The wheat is next. Young shoots, green and hopeful, stretch toward the sky. You kneel and begin the careful work of weeding, fingers parting the soil, removing what doesn't belong. It's slow work, gentle, almost meditative. Nearby, others do the same. No one commands. No one rushes. But there is order in the silence, a shared purpose, the whisper of hands in soil, the shuffle of bare feet, the occasional murmur of a name. Time blurs. You lose track of how many rows you've tended, how many hours have passed. The sun begins to lean west. You take your meal by the shade of a low wall. A fig, ripe and warm, presses sweet juice against your teeth. A piece of bread, soft in the middle, tears easily. The food is simple, nothing more than what's needed. But in your hands, beneath a golden scuzzy, it feels sacred. You lean back, resting against the stones, eyes half closed. Overhead, swallows dart through the air, their wings catching the light in silver arcs. You watch them without thinking, letting the pattern of their flight draw you into quiet. You think of your family, those you still have, and those who live only in memory now. You wonder how they are, whether they too are working fields, somewhere beyond the hills, whether their hands ache the way yours do, whether they look at Thesky and see the same birds. Work resumes before the sun slips too low. You're helping to dig a small irrigation trench now, channeling water from the hill to a dry patch near the vines. The earth here is tougher, packed from years of dryness, but your arms have learned patience. Each cut of the tool, each shovelful, lifted and tossed, is part of something larger, something necessary. Even here, in the heart of subjugation, you build. Not for yourself, perhaps, not for freedom, but for survival. And there's something in that which feels defiant. Evening comes slowly, like honey poured from a clay jar. The fields darken with shadow. The olives now gleam dully in their baskets. You carry them back with others, walking single file through rows of trees that rustle gently in the breeze. The weight is welcome, not crushing, but grounding. Proof of the day. Back at the shelter, the fire has been kindled again. This time, you sit closer. Someone hums a tune, low, wordless, but familiar, a lullaby from somewhere else. You don't remember the words, only the feeling, a memory worn soft, like sea-smoothed stone. You eat again, slowly, then rinse your bowl in silence. No one speaks of the day. No one counts the work. But in the hush, in the firelight, you feel the smallest warmth of something shared. Not joy, not hope, but presence. When you lie down again, the straw creaks under you. You pull a cloth over your shoulders, thin, but enough. And just before your eyes close, you think of the soil, of how it opened to your hands, and how it, at least, does not ask who you belong to. The morning returns. Once more, you feel it before you see it. The gradual warmth at your feet, the sigh of air through the thatched roof, the faint scent of ash and barley, rising with the first stirrings of light. You open your eyes. The fire is only embers now, pulsing quietly, like the breath of a sleeping animal. Around you, bodies move with slow, familiar motions, some folding cloths, others stirring pots, or drawing lines in the dirt with tired fingers. There's no talk, not yet. The silence of early morning is sacred. You rise without haste, wrapping your cloth tightly against the morning chill. Outside, the light is pale, soft as linen. The olive trees are still, their leaves gray and curled from the cool night air. You hear a cough nearby, low and rattling. Old Petros again. He's the one who remembers songs from before the conquest, though he rarely sings them now. You walk past him, offer a quiet nod. He returns it, and that's enough. A child's voice rises behind you, gentle and full of sleep. You turn and see your daughter, eyes still blinking the night away, hair tangled, feet bare. She runs toward you, and you kneel to meet her in a quiet embrace. She wraps her small arms around your neck, warm and familiar, the way she does each morning. This, too, is routine, a moment of gentleness in a world built on quiet endurance. You walk with her to the edge of the grove. There you squat and wash her face with cool water from a wooden bowl. She laughs softly when the water touches her cheeks. It's a clean sound, untouched by the weight you carry. Not far away, other families do the same. Mothers tie their children's hair into neat braids. Fathers pass down scraps of flatbread or figs. Young boys kick stones through the dust, chasing each other between rows of vines. A group of older children help gather dried olive leaves, piling them into neat baskets. Their hands are small, but already practiced. You watch all of this from your place on the earth. There's something comforting about the morning routines, the quiet patterns of a community that has learned to live together in the shadows. You know each face, each name, each story, or at least a piece of it. There is Eleni, who once nursed a Spartan child, though she never saw him again. There is Dorian, who lost his brother in the last campaign and still carries his knife. There is Maya, with her thick arms and fierce silence, who never cries, not even when her son was taken to serve as a companion to a young Spartan boy. You know them not as slaves, but as people, as neighbors, as the ones who endure alongside you. The land doesn't ask who you are. It accepts your touch, your sweat, your silence, but the community, your people, they know who you were before the land was taken. They remember. And memory, here, is everything. There are stories told in hushed tones while grinding barley or mending tunics. Stories of Messenia, of freedom, of hilltop villages with bright banners and deep wells. The elders speak of the old gods, not the polished marble Olympians, but the earth spirits and river mothers, the ones who still linger in the cracks of the stones and in the rustle of the trees. At night, sometimes, children are named after heroes, long fallen, not Spartan heroes, but those who resisted, those who vanished into the mountains and returned only in dreams. You tell your daughter one such story now as you sit with her beneath a fig tree. You speak of Aristomenes, the warrior who leapt from the fortress of Ihome, with nothing but a dagger and a dream. She listens with wide eyes, clutching a smooth stone in her hand as if it were a talisman. You don't tell her how the story ends. Some endings are better left unfinished, left as stars to guide the imagination. The days pass in cycles, toil, rest, whisper, sleep. But within that cycle, you find threadbare spaces of meaning, a hand on a shoulder, a basket passed, a song hummed while shelling peas. These are the things no Spartan can take. In the late afternoon, you return to the settlement carrying firewood. As you walk between the scattered dwellings, you see an old man sitting beneath a woven awning, carving something into a strip of wood. You stop, curious. He doesn't look up, but gestures for you to come closer. You do. He holds out the carving. It's a flute. Crude, uneven, but real. He nods to you, and you understand. He wants you to try. You press your lips gently to the opening and blow. A thin note escapes, high and shaky. You both chuckle quietly. No one else hears. No one else needs to. Later that evening, as the sky turns lavender, your daughter falls asleep in your lap, a half-eaten plum in her hand. You brush a strand of hair from her face and feel the deep, soft ache of a day nearly finished. There is no celebration here, no feasts, no songs of glory, but there is survival, there is togetherness, and there is memory. As the fire crackles low and the stars emerge, one by one, you close your eyes, just for a moment. You think of roots, how they grow deep into the earth, unseen, quietly defiant. You are not free, but you are not alone, and tomorrow you will rise again. The night deepens. The fire burns low, flickering against the stone walls, sending long shadows dancing across the dirt floor. You sit near it, legs crossed, a rough cloth draped across your shoulders. Around you, the small community begins to retreat into silence. But sleep does not come quickly. Not tonight. You lie awake, your daughter curled up nearby, her breath slow and warm. You can hear the distant sounds of others settling. Quiet rustles, a low cough, the creak of old wood. Somewhere, a baby whimpers and is gently hushed. Somewhere else, someone hums, barely a whisper, a song you almost remember. Above, the stars shimmer. You watch them through a crack in the thatched roof. They are not the same stars you knew as a child. Or perhaps they are, just seen from a different place, through different eyes. You wonder if your ancestors once sat under this same sky, dreaming the same distant dreams. You wonder if they, too, knew the feeling of being owned, but not broken. Your thoughts drift to the days ahead. The harvest is near. Soon, the overseers will visit. They come with tall boots and tally sticks, measuring your yield, calculating your worth in baskets of grain and jars of oil. They rarely speak, except to correct, but their eyes see everything. In the days before their arrival, there's always tension, a tightening of shoulders, a sharpening of silence. You'll clean the tools, smooth the paths, repair the broken crates, and clear the irrigation channels. Every detail matters. Every impression is a whisper in the ears of the men who speak to the masters. But for now, there is only night. You close your eyes. When morning comes again, it brings with it a fog, thick, clinging, like the breath of the mountains. The trees seem to float in it, their trunks vanishing into mist. You walk slowly through it, your daughter clinging to your side, afraid of the quiet. You squeeze her hand gently. It's only the sky resting on the earth. You whisper. She nods, unsure, but comforted. That day, you help rebuild a section of the goat pen. The fence was damaged in the last storm, a rare spring squall that blew hard and fast through the valley. You lift the stones with care, setting them in place, packing the gaps with wet clay. Your fingers grow raw, but the shape begins to return. A small repair, a quiet defiance. Later, you watch the children playing again. They use sticks for swords and flat stones for shields. They leap over puddles, hide behind bushes, shout names of invented heroes. You smile, though something twists quietly in your chest. You know what waits for the boys among them. You know that some will be taken, not because they broke a rule, but because they were strong, or clever, or noticed. And in Sparta, that can be dangerous for someone like you. The Spartans do not fear your hands. They fear your memory, your pride, your unity. You remember a night long ago when a neighbor, strong, tall, and quiet, simply disappeared. No one spoke his name after that, not even his mother. Just silence, a wound pressed closed. It's said the young Spartan boys nearing manhood are sent to the hills to learn stealth, to learn to kill, and that sometimes they hunt more than animals. The word for this practice drifts through your camp in whispers. Cryptia, a silent thing, a shadow that watches and judges. It is not law, it is not punishment. It is reminder. You tell yourself it won't come here, but some nights you sleep with your daughter's feet tucked against your chest, your arm around her small body, as if that might be enough to keep the dark away. Still, life goes on. Each morning brings its small rituals, the gathering of eggs, the drawing of water, the sorting of lentils. You learn to sew patches with steadier hands, to twist rope from dry reeds, to mix ash and oil into something that softens cracked skin. You teach these things to your daughter, not just how, but why, so she may know that even in servitude there is skill, there is care, there is a way to make the world softer, quieter, more yours. One evening, she brings you a gift, a necklace made from small bones and seeds strung on a thin cord of hair. It is crude, crooked, fragile, but when she places it around your neck, her face shines with pride. And in that moment, you feel more adorned than any Spartan queen. You wear it now beneath your tunic, not for decoration, but for memory. The days continue, sometimes bright and dry, with winds that rustle the tall grasses, other times heavy with cloud, when the soil clings to your ankles and the sky feels close enough to touch. One day, there is laughter, real, full-bodied laughter, from the edge of the grove. A boy has climbed the old fig tree and refuses to come down. His sister threatens him with a stick. The adults watch, amused, no one stopping them, just watching. Because in a world where so much is controlled, laughter is a kind of rebellion. And sometimes, the simplest joys become the deepest roots. You spend a night mending shoes with Petros. He tells you, in his cracked voice, about the old songs of Messenia, of how warriors danced before battle, of drums and bronze, and the sea. You close your eyes and try to see it. Waves crashing, torches burning, the rhythm of 1,000 feet. He laughs when you open your eyes again. Perhaps in another life, he says. You nod. But part of you thinks, perhaps in this one too. If not now, then someday. The fire crackles low once more. Your daughter sleeps with a wooden doll cradled in her arms. You adjust her blanket. You sit in the doorway and watch the stars blink into life. And though your name is not written in stone, though no song is sung for you in marble halls, you are here, and that is enough. For now, there are days when the silence feels different, not peaceful, not sacred, but tense, weighted, like the air itself is watching. You feel it first in your chest, a slow tightening, a quiet warning. It doesn't come from something seen, but from something sensed. A shift in the wind, a change in how the bird song fades. The dogs don't bark, the children play a little closer to home. You do not speak of it, no one does, but the shadow is there. The elders say this feeling comes once each year, when the Ephoros, the magistrates of Sparta, meet in solemn ritual to do something strange, almost unspeakable. They declare war, not on Athens, not on Persia, but on you, on your people. They speak the words not with trumpets or spears, but with quiet formality, a decree that places every helot outside the bounds of law. For that year, any Spartan may kill you. No reason, no charge, no consequence. And so, you walk differently now, slower, more cautious. You avoid the paths near the hills, where the olive trees grow thick and dark. You keep your daughter closer. You speak in whispers, even at night, because the crypteia may be near. You've never seen them. No one has. Not really. They do not wear armor. They do not march. They move like smoke, like wolves in the tall grass. They are boys, barely men, sent into the wild to become shadows, to hunt. They do not strike from anger. They strike from silence. One morning, you hear of a boy gone missing. Not a child, but a young man, strong, fast, with a fire in his eyes. He was last seen walking toward the stream. His mother calls his name through the fields, for hours, until her voice breaks. No one answers. No body is found. No questions are asked. You say nothing, but you carry the weight of his absence like a stone in your chest. That night, your daughter asks you why the stars seem smaller. You tell her it's the season, but you know better. The darkness feels closer. You remember a tale Petros once told of a time long ago when helots rose together, wielding tools like swords, fire like banners. They held the hills for years. The Spartans, mighty as they were, could not break them. In the end, it was not steel that defeated them, but time and betrayal. Still, the fire they lit, it remains. Dim now, perhaps, but not gone. And that, you think, is why the crypteia exist. Not to kill, but to remind. To remind you that freedom, even whispered, has a cost. To remind you that strength is dangerous. The next day, you go to the fields early, before the sun crests the hills. The air is cold and sweet. The mist hangs low, curling around your feet like pale smoke. You dig quietly, your hands moving with practiced care. Each movement is deliberate, measured, not for the crops, but for yourself, for the illusion of stillness, of obedience, because you know someone may be watching. The other helots are quiet too. You exchange glances, brief, heavy, but say nothing. A shared understanding pulses between you, invisible and unspoken. You eat in silence. You work in silence. Even the children play more softly now. At dusk, you see them, two boys, tall and thin, walking just beyond the fields, not dressed as soldiers, no helmets, no swords, just cloaks, dark as the gathering night, and eyes that do not linger. They do not speak. They do not look your way, but you feel it. You feel the weight of their presence, like the pressure of a storm before it breaks. You hold your daughter's hand a little tighter. Later, around the fire, the talk is hushed. A woman speaks of markings found near the goat pens, strange footprints, a broken branch, a smear of something dark. Not blood, perhaps, but perhaps Someone mentions traps. Another shakes his head. There's nothing to be done, they say. Not against ghosts. That night, your dreams are troubled. You walk alone in the hills. The trees closing in around you. The sky is wrong. Too low. Too still. In the distance, a flute plays a slow, sorrowful tune. You follow it, barefoot, the ground cold and rough. You come upon a clearing. There stands a figure, cloaked, waiting. When you wake, your heart is quiet, but your breath is not. The fire has burned low again. You sit up, listening. Nothing, just the crackle of coals and the soft sound of a sleeping child beside you. You lie back down, slowly, and you think of the boy who vanished, of the Spartans who train not to build, but to break, of the shadows that move between trees. But you also think of the old tales, of the fire in the mountains, of the songs sung low, by hands grinding grain, by mothers braiding hair, by children who do not yet know fear. You think of survival, not as weakness, but as defiance. And so you close your eyes again. You will rise tomorrow. You will till the earth, press the olives, sew the cloth. You will hum a song. You will teach your daughter how to move quietly through the field, but also how to look at the stars without shame, because even here, in the land of iron and shadows, you are still breathing, still remembering, still waiting. The days following feel stretched, not longer exactly, just thinner, like something beneath the surface has unraveled, even if the routine remains the same. You still rise before dawn. You still walk to the fields. You still carry the same worn tools, dig the same earth, press your palms into the same soil. But the silence now is different, more cautious, more alert. There is a stillness in the trees, not the gentle stillness of rest, but of watching, as if the leaves are holding their breath. You catch yourself glancing over your shoulder more often, at nothing, at everything, a shadow between two olive trunks, a rustle in the underbrush that stops the moment you listen, a feeling at the nape of your neck that doesn't leave even under the sun. You speak less. Even the children seem to sense it. Their games no longer echo through the valley. They move in tighter circles, staying within sight of the dwellings, their laughter hushed, their eyes more curious, more cautious. One morning, the body of a goat is found, not torn by wolves, not taken for food, just left, its throat cut, the body untouched. A message, quiet, precise, undeniable. No one speaks of it aloud, but no one forgets. That day, you work with a heaviness in your limbs, not from fatigue, but from the weight of being watched. Every movement feels rehearsed. You avoid eye contact. You keep your hands low, your posture humble, your voice soft. You know the rules. Be productive. Be silent. Be invisible. And yet, part of you aches at the thought. To become invisible is to disappear, and a disappearing is what they want. Later that evening, you return home and find your daughter sitting near the hearth, arranging small pebbles in a circle. She doesn't look up, but you watch her hands, slow, deliberate, creating something that only she understands. You sit beside her. After a while, she speaks. Why do the soldiers always look like they're listening to things we can't hear? You pause, caught off guard by her question. You think for a moment. Then you say, because they've been taught to hear fear. She frowns. But I'm not afraid. You look at her small hands, her wild hair, her calm face, and you believe her. She's too young to be afraid, but one day, she won't be. That night, the wind is sharp. It slips through the cracks in the walls, whispering across your face as you lie with your arm draped over her. You listen to its song, high, irregular, almost speech. It reminds you of stories your grandmother once told, stories of spirits that roamed the hills, guardians of hidden springs, protectors of the old ways. You whisper one of those tales to your daughter, barely audible, just to fill the space. You speak of a mountain woman with silver eyes who could walk without leaving footprints. She watched over those who were quiet, you say, and helped them stay hidden until the night was no longer dangerous. Your daughter listens, and eventually she sleeps. In the dark, you keep your eyes open just a little longer. The next day, two strangers arrive. They wear Spartan cloaks, clean, thick, with deep crimson folds. But they do not walk like warriors. Their eyes search the fields as they pass. They do not speak to you. They do not need to. You bow your head and keep your hands busy. They enter the main house. There are voices inside, sharp, clipped, hard to make out. You continue working, your back to the door, your ears straining. You hear your name, just once. You pretend you didn't. Later, when they leave, you feel a hollowness in your stomach. Not hunger, but something deeper. You look to the horizon, where the hills begin to rise, and for a moment, you wonder what it would feel like to disappear into them, to walk away, to climb, to never stop. But you do not move, because you're not alone, because your daughter is here, because your people are here, because running would mean abandoning what little remains. That evening, the elders gather quietly near the grove. No torches, no fire, just shadows beneath the olive trees. You join them, stepping softly through the grass. The air smells of crushed leaves and cold stone. Petros is there. So is Maya. And Dorian, eyes watchful, arms crossed. No one speaks for a long time. Then Petros says what all of you have been thinking. They are hunting again. A murmur rises. Someone curses under their breath. Someone else tightens a cloth around their shoulders. We cannot stop them, Maya says, her voice low but steady. No, Petros replies, but we can protect what we have. And so they decide. Watches will be kept. Paths will be guarded. The children will not walk alone. Fires will be smaller. Voices softer. All until the season passes. The meeting dissolves without ceremony. You return to your home beneath a sky thick with stars. Your body cold, but your spirit oddly warmer. Because even in fear, there is unity. Even in silence, there is resistance. That night, you carve a small mark into the doorpost. Not a symbol of warning, just a line, a record, a quiet way of saying, we were here. When your daughter sees it the next morning, she touches it with her fingertip. What is it? You smile. Just a reminder. She looks at you with curiosity. Then, without another word, she picks up a small rock and carves another line just beneath yours. Two marks, side by side. The sun rises the next morning without ceremony. It filters through the trees in slanted lines, casting long, thin shadows that stretch across the packed dirt. You move through them as you begin your work, your body slow, deliberate, conserving strength, conserving silence. Today feels no different. And yet, it does. There is an alertness in your limbs. Not fear exactly, but something close. A readiness, perhaps. You pass Eleni near the well. She doesn't smile. She rarely does anymore. But she meets your gaze, holds it for a breath longer than usual. That's enough. The olive baskets need weaving. You sit with others beneath the awning of a shed, your fingers tugging coarse reeds into place. The rhythm of weaving is calming. One over, one under, tighten, repeat. It feels like a language, a code, shared by those who survive in plain sight. As you work, the talk is low. Petros murmurs about the tracks he saw behind the fig grove. Dorian says the goats have grown restless at night. Maya speaks of a boy she saw, not from your group, standing too still on the ridge, alone, watching. You nod, but say nothing. There's nothing to say. This season of shadow is not new. It comes every year, in some form, sometimes with blood, sometimes only fear, but always with silence. Still, there is something different now. The children are asking questions. The elders are remembering more than they forget. And you feel something stirring. Not bold, not rebellious, but steady. That afternoon, while collecting water, you hear footsteps behind you. Soft, measured, intentional. You turn slowly. It's one of the young Spartans. Perhaps 15, maybe 16. A boy, really, but already carrying the quiet confidence of someone raised to see you as less. His cloak is pinned high, his belt tight. A short knife rests at his side. He doesn't speak. He just stands there, watching you. You bow your head, just enough. You reach for the water jug, careful, controlled. Still, he doesn't move. The air between you thickens. You feel your heartbeat rise, not fast, but loud, as if echoing in your ears. Then, finally, he turns and walks away. No words, no gestures, no harm. But the message is clear. He could have. He might. You breathe out once he's gone, slow and long, like untying a knot inside your chest. You carry the jug back, water sloshing gently with each step. You don't spill any. Later, you sit with your daughter, helping her sort small beans into rows. She hums a song, one her grandmother taught her, something about the moon and the wind and the color of wheat. It's soft, melancholy, beautiful. You close your eyes, just for a moment, and listen. You don't need to remember the words, just the feeling. When you open your eyes again, the sun is lower, casting golden light across her face. She looks peaceful, unbothered. You wonder how long that will last, and you promise yourself, silently, fiercely, that you will protect this peace for as long as you can, even if it means silence, even if it means watching, even if it means carving another mark on the doorframe each year. That night, a small group gathers again near the grove. No fire this time, only the moonlight, silver and thin, painting your faces in pale reflection. Petros brings news. There was a message, he says, scratched into the bark of an old tree near the stream. What kind? Asks Maya. 3 lines, 2 crossed, the old mark. You feel your breath catch slightly. The old mark, a sign used by those who remember the resistance. A whisper, older than Sparta's walls, older than the red cloaks and the declarations of war. It meant, we see you, we remember, we remain. Some scoff. It's just a child playing games. Or bait. But others, the older ones, exchange glances that carry the weight of memory. It may be nothing, Petros says, but it may be something. You don't speak, but you feel it too. A stirring, not of rebellion, that word is too loud, too sharp, but of alignment, of quiet connection, of threads beginning to tighten. In the days that follow, you see the sign again, this time carved faintly into a fence post behind the grain storage, and then again on the underside of a clay bowl, small, subtle, missable, but not missed. And slowly, you notice how people begin to move, just slightly, working in closer groups, sharing water more openly, helping each other without being asked. You see Maya hand her bread to a young boy who dropped his. You see Dorian sharpening blades, meant for harvest, with extra care. You see your daughter teaching another girl how to braid rope from grass. No one says anything, but it's there, like a hum just beneath the silence. And so, when the time comes, when the Ephoros meet again, when the annual war ends, when the Cryptia vanish back into the shadows, you feel a breath pass through your camp, a long, quiet exhale. Relief, yes, but also something else. Resolve, the danger has passed. For now. But the memory remains. You sit beneath the fig tree, your daughter's head on your lap, and you look to the hills. The trees sway softly in the breeze. The stars begin to peek through the lavender sky. You place a hand on the mark carved into the doorframe, then over your daughter's heart. Her breath is slow, even. She sleeps with the ease of someone not yet broken by worry. Her small hand rests on her belly, rising and falling like a wave on a quiet shore. You sit there a while, unmoving. The fire is little more than a glow now, a faint heartbeat in the center of the room. Beyond the doorway, night has taken full hold. The stars above are sharp tonight, not distant pinpricks, but clear, like silver nails hammered into a black sky. You remember watching stars like this before, not here, someplace else. Back when you still thought about the shape of dreams. Back when fear was only an idea, not a shadow with a name. Now, fear is a rhythm, like breathing, like sleep, like waking. But tonight, with your daughter safe and the danger seeming to recede into the woods, you allow yourself, just for a breath, to feel something different, something close to calm. You lean your head against the wooden beam. It smells of smoke and sun, of rope, of years. Your fingers trace the groove of the mark again. A simple line, shallow, easy to miss. But it means something. It means you remember. And remembering, in a world built on silence, is its own kind of resistance. Behind you, the room shifts. Someone stirs. A cough, the creak of worn joints, then stillness again. You close your eyes, not to sleep, but to listen. There's a peace that only comes after fear has passed. A brief one, delicate. You feel it now, like the moment the wind stops howling, but before the birds begin to sing again. You want to keep this moment, but dawn comes, as it always does. The sun peeks over the hills, slow and golden. The world once again moves forward, and so do you. The day is gentle, the air is warm, the work is simple, trimming olive branches, clearing dry brush from the vineyard's edge. It feels good to move, without glancing over your shoulder, to stand without wondering if your silhouette is being measured from the trees. Your daughter walks with you. She carries a basket, too big for her arms, but refuses to let you help. Every now and then, She stops to collect small stones, ones she finds interesting. She doesn't explain why. She doesn't need to. You find yourself smiling more that day. The others do too. There is laughter. Not loud, not careless, but real. Dorian tells a story of a pig that escaped during the last harvest and was found napping inside a Spartan storage shed. Petros rolls his eyes. Eleni smiles. Even Maya chuckles. The sound like dry leaves rustling together. There's still tension, of course. Still watchfulness. But something has shifted. And with the change, a sense of rhythm returns. Of routine, not shaped by fear, but by the land itself. The olives are nearly ready for pressing. The grain will need threshing soon. There's talk of weaving new cloth before the rains come. Each task comes with its own steps, its own quiet rituals. You sharpen a blade in the evening. The whetstone sings gently against the iron. Soft, even strokes, like calming a heartbeat. Your daughter sits beside you, trying to mimic the motion with a piece of broken pottery and a stick. You show her. She laughs when her hands slip. You laugh with her. In moments like these, it's easy to forget the red cloaks, the silence, the eyes in the trees. It's easy to believe the world can be simple. You let yourself believe it, just for tonight. Later, near the fire, Petros brings out a flute. Not his usual one. This is smaller, older. The tone is soft and breathy, barely louder than the crackling wood. He plays a melody none of you recognize. Slow, wandering, like the wind curling through tall grass. No one speaks. Some close their eyes. Others hum softly, and your daughter, she begins to sway. Not a dance, exactly. Just a slow rocking, side to side, as if her body is remembering something her mind never learned. You watch her, heart full in your chest, and in that flickering light, in that circle of warmth and sound, the world outside seems far away. No Spartans, no declarations, no fear, just firelight and song and breath. The night ends softly. Your daughter falls asleep with her head in your lap again. Petros puts away the flute. The others drift off one by one until only the fire remains. You don't sleep yet. Instead, you step outside into the cool air. You walk slowly toward the grove. The leaves above shimmer in the moonlight. The soil is damp from dew. You kneel beside the old fig tree and press your palm into the earth. You stay there for a while, not asking anything, not speaking anything, just feeling the land, its silence, its patience, its memory. You think of the others who once knelt here, generations of hands in the same dirt. You think of the ones who fled to the hills, the ones who stayed, the ones who disappeared, the ones who endured, and you realize something. The shadow that walks behind you, it may never vanish, but it does not own you, not fully, not forever, because you are more than what they fear. You are roots in the earth. You are breath in the dark. You are the mark carved into wood, the story told in whispers, the name spoken softly by firelight. You rise, brush the dirt from your hands, and walk back. Your home waits. Your daughter sleeps. The fire still glows, and the night, for now, is gentle. The sun rises softly, not in triumph, not in glory, but gently, as if careful not to wake those still dreaming. You stir before the others. The fire is out, the embers cold, but the air is warm already, and the faint scent of sun-baked earth seeps through the cracks in the wall. You move quietly, stepping over the sleeping forms. Your daughter's face is peaceful. Her hand rests on the little wooden doll she keeps near her chest, worn smooth now from countless nights. You brush a strand of hair from her forehead, then step outside into the hush of early light. The land stretches before you in tones of gold and brown. The olive trees sway softly. The wind carries the promise of heat, but not yet. For now it's cool on your skin. You breathe it in deeply. It fills your chest like the slow first sip of water after labor. You walk to the edge of the vineyard, to the place where the earth feels softest. There you kneel, not for ritual, not for reverence, just to feel the ground. With your fingers, you part a small patch of earth, and beneath it, something green pushes upward, tender, shy, but unmistakably alive. A young shoot, a vine reborn. You smile, not outwardly, but somewhere within. You don't say anything, but the thought is there, quiet and certain. Life returns. The others join you later, one by one, some with baskets, others with bundles of reeds or tools. Petros carries his walking stick, tapping the ground with each step. Eleni hums a line from a harvest song. Dorian nods to you as he passes, not greeting, not farewell, just presence. Work begins without command. It flows like water, each task taken up naturally. Branches trimmed, stones gathered, baskets sorted. Everyone knows what must be done. But today, something feels different, lighter, less burdened. The fear is not gone. It never truly goes, but it has quieted, retreating like a wolf into the brush, watching perhaps, but not biting. In its place, something else begins to grow. You feel it in the way Maya shares her water jug without being asked, in the way a boy offers to carry 2 baskets instead of 1, in the way someone leaves a fig at your door, ripe, sweet, a silent gesture. These are not acts of rebellion. They are acts of belonging, acts of survival, and maybe, just maybe, the beginning of something softer. Later, you help your daughter mend a tear in her tunic. You sit together under the awning, the fabric stretched across her lap, your hands guiding hers through the motion. The thread is coarse, the needle dull, but her fingers learn quickly. She bites her lip in concentration, then beams when the stitch holds. You nod with quiet pride. She lifts her eyes to yours and asks, "Will I be able to teach someone this one day?" You pause, then answer, "Yes, you will." And in your voice, there's no hesitation. That night, you join others near the fire. The circle is larger than usual. No one says why. No one has to. There are lentils in a shared pot, seasoned with herbs, someone foraged from near the stream. The smell fills the air. Simple, comforting. A few flatbreads are passed around, broken into halves, then quarters. Each piece received with a nod of thanks. Petros takes out his flute again, but this time, he doesn't play it alone. Another steps forward, a younger man, one of the quiet ones, and begins to hum. The melody is new, unfamiliar, but the rhythm catches, and slowly others join. The song has no words, not yet, only sounds, rising and falling like wind over the valley. You close your eyes, and for a moment, you're not a servant, not a captive, not a shadow in someone else's land. You are breath, you are warmth, you are one voice among many. The fire crackles softly. Sparks rise and drift like golden moths toward the stars. Your daughter leans against you, her fingers tracing shapes in the dirt. When the music fades, no one claps, no one speaks. The silence after is fuller than the sound. Before sleep, you walk once more to the doorpost. You press your hand to the mark, the one you made weeks ago, the one your daughter doubled. You add a third line tonight, not for fear, not for sorrow, but for hope. It is not loud, it is not certain, but it is real, sewn gently, stitch by stitch, into the silence. The next morning begins like the others, but something in you notices the rhythm now, not just of the days, but of the people. Each movement has its place, each silence has its purpose, and each glance exchanged seems to say, "We are still here." You rise early and take your daughter with you down to the stream. The path is quiet, shadowed by trees still holding the chill of night. Dew clings to the grasses, catching light in tiny prisms that make her stop every few steps, pointing with wonder. "There are diamonds on the leaves," she says. You don't correct her. You just smile. She crouches near the water and dips her fingers into the stream. It ripples outward, gently disturbing the mirror-like surface. You kneel beside her, filling 2 clay jugs, feeling the cool weight anchor your arms. It's a small ritual, but it's yours. On the way back, you gather dry herbs from a patch near the stones. Thyme, maybe, or something like it. You'll use it later, just a pinch, to flavor the porridge. A small act of care, a reminder that taste still matters, even here. That afternoon, you're called to help with the pressing. The olives, dark and swollen, are ready. The stone press stands near the edge of the grove, its circular base worn smooth from years of use. You join 3 others, rolling baskets forward, tipping them into the hollow basin. Your hands move with practiced strength. The rhythm is slow, purposeful. The press creaks as the stones turn. The scent of crushed fruit rises into the air, bitter, earthy, green. It clings to your clothes, to your hair. You don't mind. It smells of life, of sustento, of something that grows, no matter who claims the land. As the oil trickles into clay jars, golden in the afternoon light, you feel something settle in your chest. Not joy, not quite, but steadiness. That night, as your daughter sleeps, you sit by the doorway, weaving a small net. Not for fishing. There is no time for that. But to store fruit, or dry herbs, or anything else worth saving. Your fingers work slowly, looping and knotting, over and over. In the firelight, the pattern grows, and you realize hope is not always a flame. Sometimes it is a thread, thin, frayed, but strong enough to hold the shape of tomorrow. Behind you, the others murmur, sharing stories in low voices. One speaks of a rainstorm that ruined the fields years ago, but was followed by the best harvest the valley had ever seen. Another remembers a time when wolves threatened the herds, but the community banded together, not with weapons, but with drums and fire, and scared them off without spilling blood. Each story ends not with triumph, but with survival. And in this place, that is enough. You add another knot to your net. In the morning, a visitor arrives, not a Spartan, just one of the free neighbors, a periekos, one of those who live around the city, but do not belong fully to it. He brings tools to trade, wrapped in cloth. In exchange, he asks for olives, herbs, and woven cloth. You don't handle the trade yourself, but you watch from a distance. There is tension, of course, but also Familiarity. He speaks softly, waits patiently, bows slightly when he leaves. Afterward, Dorian whispers that the man once had a helot nurse as a child, that perhaps he remembers something more than rules, something warmer. You don't know if it's true, but the idea lingers. Maybe not all those outside your circle are deaf to your voice. Maybe not all doors are closed. Later, as you and Maya gather wheat bundles, she says, almost to herself, there's more softness in the air this year. You nod, because you felt it too. It's in the way the children sleep more easily now, in the way laughter is no longer rare, in the way the sun seems less harsh. Or maybe you're simply stronger, more rooted, less afraid to feel. That evening, your daughter brings you a surprise. It's a scrap of cloth, patched from different pieces, sewn crookedly, but clearly shaped into a pouch. Inside, she's placed dried berries and a feather. A gift for you, she says, in case you need to remember something sweet. You take it in your hands, touched by its weight. You think of all the nights you spent watching the door, of the long silences, the vanished names, the weight of fear, and now this, a pouch of sweetness, stitched with love. You tie it to your belt. It doesn't protect you from anything, but it reminds you that not everything must be endured. Some things, even here, can be treasured. That night, before sleep takes you, you whisper to the earth, not a prayer, not a plea, just a breath, just a promise that you will keep planting, keep weaving, keep remembering. And when the wind rises, curling softly through the trees, it carries your breath with it, out into the valley, into the hills, into tomorrow.